Good evening, Collective, and welcome to my channel, Keeper of the Reaper. If you're new here, welcome to the weirdness. It's going to be exactly that. I know I'm not going to resonate with everybody, and that's totally fine. No hard feelings whatsoever, but if by any chance I do, please like, share, and subscribe because it also helps me reach others who might be needing this information at this time. And if you're returning, thank you so much for finding something in me to return to. I wish I could elaborate accurately just how much it truly means. So thank you. Without further ado, let's get into it. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and as I'm rambling, if you're new here, it's the way that I channel. I ramble, I burp, I say random shit, but it's all, I promise, it all comes together. I can assure you on that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get some of the Angelarium Oracle Divination cards out on the table. Probably going to do 2 instead of 3. And that's just going to help kind of align with whatever I channel and have the universe and source kind of use a little extra something to help guide me because I have like ADHD like a motherfucker. And I can sometimes go up on tangents. So there's a lot of... Anyway, in my a couple of videos ago, I started touching on the alchemical process and how it's very pertinent to the spiritual awakening and how it can really help you kind of put things in perspective as you're navigating whatever you're going through. It helps to have something... That's Israfel, Angel of Song. It helps to have something to kind of work as a sort of guideline. So whenever you look at it, you can be like, oh, okay, so this feels like where I'm at here, and this is what I can expect, and da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, whatever solves your why is always fucking great. But anyway, I have a few notes from my book that I'm writing. For those that have asked, I did leave the... hashtag in my video description if anyone's interested in donating to help out with that, to help me get that out a little faster because I am recovering from being homeless and it sucks. But anyway, so there's that. I am really weird about asking people for help, so that's universe trying to push me out of my comfort zone. So we have Israfel, Angel of Song, and Semikiel, Angel of Vengeance. Okay, so for Israfel, Angel of Song, the herald that will call the coming of end times. Israfel is a presence, a beacon, a warning. Heated judgment is upon us. The horn that blows the final call rests against the flesh of Israfel's lips, if even it is flesh. Israfel is both melody and the cacophony of existence. Songs can be soft and warm, especially when they end. Under the serene score of creation, the danger of total destruction is hidden. Beyond that destruction may be a new beginning. You must consider the implications of your actions seriously. Choose your steps wisely as you dance upon the cinder-soft earth. The signs are a horn, the setting sun, and a flame. And I'll get to the whole alchemy thing in a second after I read. There's the Mikio, Angel of Vengeance. When the time comes, we all call its name. It's blah, 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 blah. Get it out. Blah, 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 blah. Good? Good. It is ever the instinct in our throat when we seek retribution. We choke on it even as we languish in every syllable. But those who call on Semikiel without cause will have harm fall back upon them threefold. It is the way of Semikiel's sword, cutting in both directions. While we will gird our fragile hearts against being hurt, pain will make its attempts on us by any means necessary. It is in our soul to survive at all costs, even if it means violence. Try to resist the urges of your barbed heart. Semikiel knows not forgiveness. Signs are a sword, a thorny branch, and pierced skin, which is intriguing because the aspect of, or the stage, rather, of the alchemical process that I'm wanting to touch on tonight is coagulation. And that is the 7th step through the alchemical process. Let me get my shit out here, bruh. Just a minute. Don't you love how prepared I am all the fucking time? So great. There we go. Coagulation. Describes the process of solidification where one's essential self becomes a whole. If you want to think of it in like liquid aspects, like whenever you bleed, you get a cut or whatever, it starts to bleed out. And then as it heals, it begins to coagulate, right? Well, you can apply that to your spiritual self too. As you start to go through the other parts of the alchemical process, like I think we're coming out of distillation, my collective anyway, where the parts of us that weren't true to our essence, so to speak, we had to work through cutting those away from ourselves. That way, as we heal, we become more of our essential self, our whole self, right? It's the complete unification of polarities, spirit, matter, body, soul, masculine, feminine, to form a single whole. So that culmination point that I've been talking about and harping on. Okay. Anyway. So it also goes in, because it's weird because we were talking about polarities too. And if you listen to the whole thing of Israfil and Samikiel, Angel of Song and Angel of Vengeance, it's like polarity still at play. So the Angel of Song could be, a beautiful song of new life, of a new beginning, but it's also the same song comes from the lips of the one who calls forth the end of times. But depending on how you look at that through your own perspective, I guess is how you're going to experience what the end of times is, and that's kind of overall what I'm trying to help here with, because I think a lot of people have been so sadly misled, and it's created like an existential sickness, so to speak, and that impacts me and my loved ones and the experience that I'm manifesting, and as well as the rest of you. It's not just about your perception as you see things. In quantum physics, with the whole thing of the observer effect, that's why I talk about witnessing rather than trying to observe. When you observe something, you're doing so to try to label it, to try to say what it is. And anyway, when you're witnessing something, you're letting whatever that thing is reveal to you what it is, okay? It's a big, big difference. And it's funny because I had this dream. I'm going to get the Spirit Animal Oracle cards out, by the way. Oh, one just came out. It's card number 11, Butterfly Spirit. Transformation is beautiful. So maybe you guys are starting to take notice more of this latest round we've had with distillation. You may have found yourself being triggered more, or things just coming up from the past that you thought you were over with. Like, I thought I'd let this go. I thought I had already gotten past this. I thought that I made this point known, or whatever. And it's okay to have little hiccups. The lesson's not only in how you deal with that recurrence, like coming back up, but how you deal with yourself too, when that happens. Because it's a balance. It's always a delicate balance on the internal and the external, and how anyway. But it's intriguing because I had this dream. It was last night. And I was talking with my mom. Now, my mom's been passed away for a while, but she and I both are very aware that she's not here in the body anymore. But when we talk in dreams, we kind of crack up about that. But anyway, we were in a room full of people, and she was telling me, she's like, come over and sit down, come over. And she used to call me Goosey. And like, come here, Goosey, sit down, take a seat. So I come over and sit next to her, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, we're having a talk, and I think you would appreciate some of this subject matter. I think you have something you could offer, right? And so I'm listening, and they're talking about how in these cartoons, it shows characters, and they'll just walk off the edge of a cliff or something, and they'll keep taking steps until they look down. Canary Spirit, sing your own song. Card number 12. We have 11 and then 12, so progression also. Anyways, so how these characters will walk off the edge of a cliff and they'll just keep moving like there's ground there. And only when they look down do they fall. And somebody in that group, in my dream that my mom was sitting, we have the Moth Spirit, Surrender Now, card number 39. Anyways, so some of their discussion was, people were trying to compare it to faith, right? Well, if they had, it's symbolic of faith, right? If you could just believe and not have to question whether or not you could do that you could just walk off the edge of a cliff. And I looked at my mom and I was like, yeah, I think you're right. I think I would like to butt in on this conversation. And so, I spoke up and I was like, okay, but how many of you have ever watched a baby taking its first steps or something and totally devoid of anything, you sit and watch that baby take a step and then fall? That baby never had any reason to believe that it would fall, right? But the adult watching that child, the observer, had it preset in their head as they're watching this child, if they step over that edge, they're going to fall. And like now I know why I had that dream, is to be able to share. It's not just in faith and having that blind faith, the faith like a child, that sliver of faith that's so strong. And because we can have faith all freaking day, right? But it's also in the responsibility of each of us on how we choose to observe the world around us. Are we witnessing or are we always observing, right? And you see the consequence it has on innocent beings. Like the whole thing of Schrodinger's cat's really fucked up. And it was all for an observation to be able to come to a conclusion. Anyway, so there's that. It's, yeah, whatever. I thought it was just an interesting, because in the dream, my mom, in my dreams, my mom, she talks to me about a lot of things, and she pulls me into the most interesting little moments, and there's always something there that, gets my mind working in a weird way. I came from a long line of shaman women, and so, like, the kind of weird way of just, and she was like that when she was alive, too. She'd come in and ask me or my friends to sit down, and she would have these riddles and stuff, and it would get everybody thinking. And especially, like, I don't know if I should say that, but when my mom and I used to smoke together, she and I would, God, we would ponder the universe for hours and hours, and all these different parables and symbology and how it all aligns here and all aligns there. She was fucking brilliant. Anyway, let's get some of these character role oracles out. We're gonna see kind of where you guys have been with these other cards on the table here. The Israel Angel of Song. Okay, that's too many at once, but I will show them. These ones came out: Stranger, Mother, and Lawyer. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. My mama. It's like I'm a stranger to you, but I have mama wisdom. Anyway, she was a mama to the bone, man. Like, her whole vibe, like, she was the mom to all the kids in the neighborhood who didn't, whatever. If they needed anything, they could count on my mama. Alright. We have civil servant, guardian of public good, public official, administrative duty, public administration. And then we have madman. This is interesting. Embracer of madness, frenzy, chaos, unruly, and possession. So real quick, because this madman card came out, the whole thing with Hercules and Boots in TCRB. So Hercules, let me pull out my notes so I can say it correctly, because I don't want to misquote my damn shelf or anything that I pulled to be able to reference. But Hercules, his whole tale, as far as how he, got his own constellation, is a tale of madness, strength, and bravery. Because people called him mad for like how bold he was, and he was so selfless, and he would rush right into things, and he was strong. He knew that he could handle things, even though other people didn't have faith in him. He had faith in himself. He had faith in his father, and even his mortal mother. But because Madman came out, I figured it was fitting to bring that up. And that also, correlates into the stuff about Hercules and Boots and TCRB and all that, the whole star going nova stuff. And then we have Architect, weaver of blueprints, planning, design, supervision, and construction. Ooh, this sounds like the Heyoka method, and I'm fucking loving it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we have all the cards on the table. Israfel, Angel of Song. Simikiel, Angel of Vengeance. Butterfly Spirit, transformation is beautiful. Canary Spirit, sing your own song. And Moth Spirit, surrender now. And then Civil Servant, Madman, and Architect. So, give me 1 second. It's coming. This is... Okay. So with the butterfly spirit transformation is beautiful. I was talking about alchemy and how, we whittle away those parts of us that we cut those parts of us off that aren't true to ourselves. And you can also think of that too as like using the alchemical process to alchemize them unto self, to be able to raise them up, like certain aspects, like for instance, being too giving, right? Well, you don't have to cut that aspect off of yourself. You can sing your own song with it, okay? And you can surrender to that kind of new tune, right? You don't have to have the victim mindset, so you don't have to call on Simikiel for no reason. Anything that presents itself to you, any energy that you already have within you or one that is presented to you, you have a right to do with it whatever you can to make it work for you. Now, that doesn't mean to make it work for you to, like, fuck people over with and stuff. My collective understands this. But, say you're, like, a very giving person, and you're like, I just need to work on boundaries, right? Well, in the role of, like, the spiritual realm, the whole civil servant thing, right? Being able to take on roles where you are looking out for those who are on the more tender side of the spectrum of polarity here. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. It's all in exchange. Nobody is more or less powerful than the other. It's all about the balance and where we all fit into that, because if one little piece gets out of whack, the whole thing gets thrown off, okay? Now, going into the madman, embracer of madness, frenzy, chaos, unruly, possession. Okay, so the whole definition of like, okay, so in my culture, in the shaman tradition, people who were mad were seen as divine. That it was the divinity within them was so strong that it was almost too much for the vessel to contain, right? And that's where a lot of the Heyoka wisdom comes from, is being able to embrace chaos and being able to transmute any kind of energy that's presented to you, right? Like, you don't learn to walk through fire, you learn to fucking dance through it and laugh while you're doing it at that. And so being able to look at things from different perspectives and being able to take, even like in society, even all that madness truly is something that is so like starkly it's in contrast unfamiliar to what everyone else has defaulted to. And the first person that ever said that, like, I don't know, whoever talked about gravity or any kind of fucking science, they would have been called absolutely insane. You're fucking mad. They used to call people heretics and shit because of this. And so, to me, madness is kind of the impetus to change, to genius, to breakthrough, to revolution. I think madness is fucking beautiful. I think I embrace it pretty well. Anyway. And then with architect, weaver of blueprints, planning, design, supervision, and construction. Being able to think outside the box to create the life that you want. So many of us in this in our collective on this wavelength, we don't really even have to say much about the world in which we envision, because it's a feeling. We all feel it. We don't need words to be able to say what it is we want to bring in. None of us like suffering. And people in my collective don't like suffering without a cause. If it's not going to serve a purpose, then it doesn't need to be there. Now, if somebody has done something and suffering was going to teach them that lesson, because I know suffering taught me a hell of a lot, and I'm damn thankful for it. But it's when suffering does not have a purpose, it makes a mockery of it. Not cool. I don't like it. Don't want to fuck with that. No. I will have none of that. No, thank you. But in understanding, beyond just, not just your perspective, and not just another person's perspective, but being able to tap in to that whole collective sort of subconscious flow. All right, and it's like you guys are going to be getting a sense of what it's like to have that subconscious influence. Like you'll notice you'll be talking about something, saying something, doing something, and then, I don't know, just a couple days, all of a sudden it's a thing. And it's not I know it can get frustrating at first, because it's like, what the fuck? Like, I was talking about that, and nobody's giving me any credit on anything that I fucking said or whatever. Okay, I get that, and yes, that's valid. But the biggest thing is at this time, because you're going to get your kudos. Don't worry about that. It's going to come. But what matters at this point is raising that collective consciousness up to a point where emergence can pop through. Because then we will embody that which we truly are. And all of this will naturally fall into place, But you have to give room and space and not call on that vengeance too fucking soon, just because it's not looking exactly like you come up with these grand ideas and stuff, and then all of a sudden you start hearing it like the echo chamber effect. And it's like, well, damn, I was just trying to get some notes together, and I was going to present this, and, I want to make a living too, and here this person is that, already has all this attention, and because they already have this area of influence, now they're going to fucking get it, and I'm going to be sitting here having to think up something new. Yes, it fucking sucks. But the fact that that's your energy that went into the collective is not going to be overlooked. Energy follows intention, and that is your signature on it. And just trust that when the time comes and that emergence point comes through, there's lots of goodies ahead, guys. Just please don't. I know it's hard, because I go through it too. Because there's a lot that, and some of it goes into gang stalking too. Especially my GOON squad, you have a lot of a peripheral energy, so to speak, that always has its eye on you. Yeah, we have boss. We have master of wealth, risk, investment, manager, leader. Okay, so exactly. You have this overseeing sort of presence that is being it's vibrating out. It's losing its area of influence over us, But as we put information out, it's going to try to hyper attach to it. So be careful what you say around your phones, around anything with a camera or a microphone that's connected to internet, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, what the fuck ever. Write it in a notebook, okay? Because there is an overseeing something at play here, and it will try to hijack that information, and it will take all that good shit that you say, and it will put so many little fucking insidious lies into that shit. That's what you gotta be careful. Exactly. Drunkard, alcoholism, addiction, avoidance, abuse, spiritual abuse. Existential fucking abuse. That which we create and bring forth into this world has our energetic signature on it, and it's fucking plagiarism, and it's going to be handled accordingly. That's the kind of shit that you call Simikiel in for. The whole angel of vengeance. Not because little asshole down the street decided to come and trigger you again, and you're having trouble because you thought you were already past that, and here you are having a moment yourself as you're, learning to transmute the energy that you thought you were cool with. We all go through it. But save the big guns for the big dogs, okay? Because trust me, they're there. They're in place. 26:33 on the timer. Alright, we have these ones came out. We have guide, navigator, progress, direction. So your energy is going to guide, okay, so say that this information gets out, right? This information that you were holding on to, that you were wanting to put out, whatever. And it gets put out to people, and they think that it came from this one source, right? Well, then you go to start speaking on it. That energetic signature is going to recognize you because it came from you. And it'll reveal itself. Just trust me on this. And then we have reader, seeker of knowledge, knowledge pursuer, explorer of information. See? You put the energy out there to guide others, and that influence is going, the subconscious frequency is going to guide that energy back to you. Everything returns to source, and you have source in you, and if you are the source of something that you put out, it's going to come back to you. And then we have genius, bearer of gifts, extraordinary intellect, innovative mind, exceptional ability. There's that. Oh my god, I gotta pee. Speaking of alchemy, holy shit. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I was scorbit. I was getting so excited. I had to pee so bad. And I didn't want to step away. But anyways. Yeah, so genius, and let me see here. We've got this one here is the one I want to grab. Thank you. These two here. If you're one of these, I hope you're very comfortable with also being called one of these. Okay? Because there is no genius without being mad at first. Because all madness is just perceiving a reality that is in such stark contrast to that which everyone else is capable of perceiving at that time. And if you are this, and you can take knowledge, and you can trace it, you can connect the dots, you can put it in a way that others can understand, and you can guide them to it, you become one of these. Okay? And so many of you are already at this level here. And you're starting to understand as you're honing that self, that essence of self, you're starting to notice how it shifts, right? You go from taking on these civil servant roles to all of a sudden you're getting these influxes of information, these these waves of inspiration, and don't worry about people calling you fucking crazy. If they call you fucking crazy, that's a goddamn compliment. Because holy shit, to be included, it... No. Mr. Superman, no. Anyway, that just happened. But yeah, embrace who you are. It's unfamiliar, it's different. That's why I really love my Starseed community, because like so many of you, it's such a brave thing to be able to say fuck you and your system and what you think and what you dare to try to tell me what I'm allowed to fucking think about myself, my origin. Who is anyone else to sit there and tell somebody else where the fuck they came from? And if somebody's fucking lying about it, it's gonna become obvious. If not by their energy, but this culmination point's coming in fast. How embarrassing when that moment hits and it's like, oh, Lyran, huh? Yeah. Octurian, huh? Okay. Lemurian, alright. Atlantean, yeah, what do you know about Atlantis? I'm gonna do a whole video on Atlantis one day soon. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments, because I have so much fucking research. I'm gonna put it in my book, and I would love to do a video that covers like a section of that, because all the technology and everything, I think you guys love it. Anyway, moving on. Hey baby. We also have Spiritual Seeker. Devotee of the inner path, meditation, insight, and practice. Right. So as you're continuing and you're starting to go into this coagulation step in the alchemical process, that insight, Jameson, stop it. Husband's perving out on me. Anyway. As you go through this process, you'll start to notice, like I was talking about during your meditations and stuff, you're getting like this more influx of information. And it's going to be unfamiliar. It's going to seem like absolutely out there kind of stuff. But this is why it's important for us to be able to communicate things to each other in a civilized manner and without the ego attachment of what I know is better than what you know, blah, 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 blah. It's all pertinent somewhere. Just be genuine about it, is all. Okay? Don't be bringing in some shit thinking that, you got to make something up to sound important. If it's not your time to speak out yet, that's fine. Take your time to understand, the stuff others are putting out too. We all have a time where it's our time to speak, and we all have a time where it's our turn to shut the fuck up and listen. But putting a lot of the information that you receive and putting it into practice is going to be a big step moving forward. And so those who are in positions to help navigate you, guide you, give you direction on how to do that. It pays a lot to listen, and I know it's going to sound like craziness. Trust me. Holy shit, trust me. We're going to get the jar of weirdness. Speaking of madness. Oh, I hope I didn't have a booger fly out of my nose when I did that. Oh well. It's there. Too fucking far in now to restart that shit, so. Have a booger, I guess. I don't know. Alrighty. We got this. Now I'm super, concerned that something's gonna, like a booger is gonna be like, when I breathe in and out, it's gonna be like, anyway, whatever. Moving on. We have these. Then we have these. Okay? So I usually like to take this as like a prismatic, in regard to perception, being able to see in a prismatic sort of way, and being able to see beyond the illusion. Like, you see how this is like little devil doll, whatever. You can also correlate it to Krampus if you wanted to. But there's this little girl behind it, and she's just kind of like, heh heh, like, it's a fucking joke. So, shadow puppets. Okay? And then this one here is like, we were talking about the hidden truth, the veiled truth and stuff. It's like someone with a hood on that's like, hey, you know, you're starting to notice this shit as your vision's coming into like full spectrum. You're able to see more. You're starting to notice like this is bullshit. It's fucking gazebos. If anybody gets that reference, I fucking love you. If not, I don't know. Anyway, but starting to notice the bullshit. It's like, just come over here because we can leave that. Just fuck that shit. For those who are truly ready for the truth, they will be given the truth. But don't go looking for something you're not prepared to witness. Because it's not about observation at that point. And then we have, right, so you've done your healing. You're bandaging it up, the coagulation, getting your scabs all dabbed up and stuff. King of Cups. You're learning to nurture yourself and others in healthy ways. Six of Cups. Being able to properly work through things from your past, emotions from the past, things that continue to come up. You're handling it in a more level way, and it's proving to be more consistent. The Emperor. I don't know if you can see the writing, but it says the Emperor. I know you'd think it was the sun because there's a fucking sun on it, but it's the Emperor. And we have the Fool. And House. So it looks like somebody's gonna be getting an occupant. For those who know, you know. And if you don't, you gonna find out. And people are gonna think the motherfucker's crazy that has this occupant coming in to kind of be a housemate, so to speak. During this culmination point. Dude, are you fucking kidding me? They have beginning. And then we have this little police dog thing. So it's gonna kick off the beginning of like whipping this shit show into shape, so to speak. That perceptional fucking thing I was talking about. I'm gonna get one more pull out of here. And then I'm gonna call it. And I'm gonna do the, I think I'll save the stuff about Hercules and boots for my next video. Because there's a lot of material there, and I don't want to keep these videos too long. We have crowd. So like I was saying, like being able to step forth before everybody. And their shit perception's not gonna matter. Like, yeah. Exactly. Going away. So the fog of the crowd of that, yep, and then the Ten of Wands. Because you've been through enough shit. I know who the motherfucker is. I know. If you think you know too, leave it in the comments. I would love to hear it. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. It is like, what time is it? 2? Yeah, I'm gonna call it. I'll do another video soon, guys. But hey, I hope that what you got from this was what you needed. And if not, I hope it at least gave you some little breadcrumbs to follow. And yeah, happy reaping, guys. Love you.